sub-Saharan Africa is going to deliver the desired results because the capacity is simply not there. There are more African doctors, Ghanaian African doctors, in New York City alone than in the whole country. The same is true with Nigeria and many other countries. The same is true with education and all other sectors. The capacity that Africa needs to take its rightful place on the world stage is in the diaspora. And this is because of the brain drain. And the brain drain goes back to starting with the ones that came across the Atlantic in shackles, followed by the ones who came across the Atlantic in search of greener pastures. The result is the only ingredient that is missing for Africa to move forward are its children. So that is why the African heads of states and the African Union Commission are committed to see to it that we repatriate, we reverse the brain drain.
This is a heavy-duty sentence that I've picked up in some of your interviews, past interviews. It's not easy being a black person on Earth.
It is not.
Can you talk about that, please?
In my own humble opinion, I like to say the most endangered species on Earth is the black man, followed by the black woman right above them. It doesn't matter. You just have to be. You simply just have to be. I can tell you one experience I had not even long ago. My daughter got married, and it was in Maine. And after the wedding, the wedding party wanted to go to a nightclub. Now, the only black people were my son, my daughter, and another guest, another young black girl. Anyway, and the rest, she married a white guy, so the wedding party was his friends from high school and college. Well, the young kids were already drunk. So when they were trying to get into the nightclub, there were about 15 of them, and the police were called. But my daughter heard them say, and my son is very tall. And so there's a tall black guy and a young lady in a pink dress. They were the only two black people. And when the police came, they wanted to talk to those two. But the question is, they're all here. So fortunately, one of the bridesmaid, she's a newly graduated Harvard lawyer, and she walked right up to the police and say, "I want you to know I'm a Harvard lawyer. I have you. I'm recording you. Go right ahead." So the police completely changed their demeanor.
Sure.
But what was called in were the two black people.
Sure.
They were not even drunk. It's the rest of the party that was drunk. But so you don't have to do anything. Sometimes you just have to be.
Yeah.
Just be yourself and you're in trouble. But really what gets me mad is, even on the continent, we get abused on our own land simply because of the color of our skin. So it's really something that I would like for people to stop and think about. When are we going to be free as black people?
I want to insert one other thought into the conversation. And what we're talking about now is very important. You've been practicing medicine in Tennessee for 25 years?
Yes.
Yep. I read something which said, talking about African Americans and Africans in the United States, they're saying that it is very difficult and it is a daily task for a black person to fit into white society.
Absolutely. But the question is, here's the way I look at it. Why should we even try to fit into anything? This is our world. I don't need to try to fit into anything. I just want to get along with you.
Yeah.
I don't need to try to fit into anything.
Right.
And if you don't want to get along with me, fine, have it your way.
Right.
We need to, the reason we feel like we should fit in is because we are coming into this conversation from a level of inferiority.
Yeah.
Why do we feel inferior?
And a superiority on the part of the white.
Thank you. So we're coming in feeling inferior, they're coming in feeling superior. There is no conversation between white and black. That needs to be addressed, and we must pull this bull by the horns. As black people, we need to move up and realize that we're just as good as anybody else, and the white people need to get off their high horses and come down. So we can have a real meaningful conversation, much needed conversation. And that's part of why I'm here, because I realize there's so much misunderstanding between Africans do not understand the Americans. The Americans do not understand the Africans. It gets in the way of trade. If you look at AGOA implementation, that simple legislation that is meant to help African businesses, we're not benefiting from it because when the African businesses hear about doing business in America, America is so hard. No, honey, it may be a lot of papers, but all you gotta do is cross every T and dot every I, one page at a time, and you'll get it done. But because it's America, there's a wall that falls, and it's difficult.
You're representing the African Union in the United States.
Correct.
On a scale of 0 to 10, what's the relationship between Africa and the United States?
I can honestly tell you right now, and I'm preaching whenever I have an audience to preach, America is still the most preferred trading partner by Africa. Mm-hmm. But my biggest fear right now, I see America slowly losing its place. I often say...
Its place where?
In Africa, in terms of being preferred. Because America is still...
On a scale of 0 to 10?
On a scale of 0 to 10, America is still number one.
Well, that's the desire, but how would you say the relationship is between the two countries? Number one?
It's still good. That's what I'm saying. So caution is to say, America, in order for you to maintain your position, this game is a new game. You need to call for timeout. You need to re-strategize.
President Trump is a businessman.
Yes.
How do you sell a businessman on the importance of Africa?
Well, I think President Trump is a businessman who likes to negotiate, and he wants to always end up with the upper hand, and I don't blame him. That's why Americans appointed him. He is there to come out with the best deal for America, period. Mm-hmm. And he wants to get that deal by any means necessary. We, the Africans, must also stand up and realize that if you're going to negotiate with America, you better be on your P's and Q's. You must have all your antennas up and be ready to fight, because the Americans are not going to come in and let you just beat up on them. But at the same time, let me look at it this way as well. Going back to the Berlin Conference, we are already at a disadvantage. How do you take Togo and put Togo in the same boxing ring with the United States? You're taking a heavyweight fighter and putting them in the same ring with not even a lightweight fighter, but a wannabe boxer. This is the position that African countries are finding themselves in. They are not heavyweights. These are little boys who are constantly being put in the same heavyweight boxing ring with the big boys. Now, when we come together as a continent, as Africa, we are a heavyweight. We belong in the same boxing ring with the United States, with China, with India, with Europe.
Rightful place? Going for the rightful place.
Rightful place, because right now we vacated that place and others have been taking that place. Game is up. Africa must take its rightful place as one continent, one heart, one voice.
Will we see a new Africa?
It's going to happen. Absolutely. It's on the way. I was talking to my chairman just last week. He told me January we'll have all the ratifications we need, and the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is moving, it's steaming right ahead. And the children of Africa are going to speak with one voice, and our Pan-African fathers from 1964, wherever they are in their graves, they are doing flips, because finally, Africa is going to be whole again.
So you have hope?
Very much so. That's all we got.
What are we missing?
The understanding and appreciation of Africa and its people.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned in your life?
The biggest lesson I've learned in my life is that love conquers all. Mm-hmm. And that if we can just love each other and accept each other as humanity, regardless of the color of your skin, because this really is, the color of your skin is nothing. At the end of the day, we are one. So if we can just learn to love and respect and appreciate each other, this world is an amazing place.
So when we look at the news, television, or hear it on radio, or pick up a newspaper, one thought you want us to take. One thought.
Africa is an amazing continent. And everything that you have read negative about Africa, it is all false. Take another look at Africa. Clean eye.
Take another look at Africa with a clean eye.
Absolutely.
Lovely. Madam Ambassador, thank you so much for the education.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For information about This Is America and the World, and to watch all of our programs, visit our website, thisisamerica.net, and look for us on Facebook and Twitter. You can listen to all of our ambassador interviews on our podcast, The Ambassador Series. It's available on our website and iTunes. This Is America and the World is brought to you by Whittle School and Studios, the U.S.-China Education Trust and F.Y. Chang Foundation, guided by Julia Chang Block, President, the League of Arab States, the Republic of Haiti, the Rotendaro Family Trust, Japan, History, Hospitality, and Advanced Technology, sharing tomorrow. The Forerunner Foundation, dedicated to forward-thinking public policy. And the Embassy Series, uniting people through musical diplomacy, presenting international artists in diplomatic settings.